Hey everybody, Guy Ferdman here, trying to smile more for you Rex. After those comments yesterday, I am pretty smiley actually in general. Don't know why in the videos. That was a pretty serious one, I guess. Anyway, went out last night here in Medellin, had a wonderful food experience. Seems like I drank too much according to the way my head feels today. And want to talk to you about two things here today. Just pick up the conversation from yesterday about limiting beliefs and then also about commitment, okay? So as far as limiting beliefs go, I've been reading this wonderful book, and I could put the link for it down below. I try to commit to at least listening and reading, I should say, about 3 books per month. And I do that through Audible. So if you guys are wondering, like, wow, that's a lot to read, I actually listen to books these days a lot more than I read. And if you're not using Audible, it's a great tool from Amazon. And it's wonderful because you can listen to the author read the book at 2 to 3 times normal speaking speed, which means that if you're reading a book in 8 hours, it'll take you about 4 hours to listen to the same content, which is a huge time saver. So I'll put the link for this book down below. It's called Loving What Is by Katie Byron. And she does similar work to what Elon and myself do, and pretty much what any spiritual practice will allow you to do. But she asks 4 really great questions, and these are questions I'll paraphrase, and you might want to write them down and ask yourself in any area of life that's not working well for you. Because again, if it's not working well for you, it's because you have an opinion that's veiled as a fact. To you, it seems as if it is real, and all facts given enough time can be dismantled and disproven. So here are the 4 questions that she asks, and the question is, the first one is very simple. It's just, is this true? Now, if you can't answer no to that one because you haven't assessed whether it's true or not yet, then you want to ask yourself the next question. Could you absolutely know that it's true? So for example, if you have a conversation about your parents or your mom or your father that's disempowering that relationship, and you think that whatever you think about your parents is true, and you're like, yeah, absolutely, that's true, they've done that to me, ask yourself the next question, which is, could you absolutely know that that's true? And I don't think we can absolutely know that anything is true. And you just want to get yourself into a space of inquiry, right? All this stuff is not about anything else except for just inquiring deeper than the normal thought patterns that we typically have, okay? After that, the next question you want to ask yourself is, how do you feel when you think that thought, right? Because there's a thought that's prevalent there, and there's a feeling that's correlated with that. So how do you feel when you think that thought? Again, just allows you to inquire deeper, okay? And then the next question you want to ask yourself is, if that thought was no longer there, how would you be? Like, what would the experience of life be, okay? And Elon and I do really similar work. We'll ask people to tell us their story about some situation. We'll separate the story from what's actually happening so that they're keen into their reality, and we'll look at what is it that they're pretending, because that's pretty much what everyone's doing. It's they're pretending that the story is real, and we all have evidence that we collect for our story, so they seem very real, but if you really look at it objectively, none of our stories are very real. Again, we've just taken the time to collect evidence and prove to ourselves that they're real because we are obsessed with being right, and especially right about shit that's not serving us. So at the end of the day, all this stuff is not to make yourself wrong. It's just to look at the context and the view and filter in which you look at life through. And if it's disempowering you, not allowing you to be in action, not experiencing love, you don't have self-expression in your life, you don't have power or freedom in your life, then why are you holding on to that context? Why are you trying to prove it right? Why are you collecting evidence for it? Let it go. So I'll put that link down below, and you guys can actually get a free Audible account, I think for 14 days or 30 days, and get 2 free books for yourself also. And I think once you do that, you'll probably be pretty addicted to Audible, so I highly recommend it as a tool. The other thing I want to talk to you about is commitment, right? Because so many people, and Elon made a video about it yesterday too, are stuck in inaction. And it's why they don't get results. Because when we look at the world and the people that we put under microscopes and say, hey, look how successful they are, when you haven't been there for the ride and you don't know the work and effort that that person put in to have success, it seems like success happened to them by happenstance. One of my favorite lines in the world, or one of my favorite quotes in the world, is by Louis Pasteur, which is that chance favors the prepared mind. So basically, like, luck favors the prepared mind, meaning that luck is not a real thing. It seems that way. The way we perceive it is because we can't perceive long timelines, so we just look at a snippet in time. It looks like that person got really lucky, but trust me, anybody who's been at the top of the sports world or the top in their field in any way, shape, or form, go look at it. It was not happenstance. It was not because they were born gifted in any way. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, people who are at the top of their game in science, trust me, maybe the circumstances were there to allow them to start a path of mastery, but it's their day-to-day practice, it's their willingness and commitment towards mastery that's created them as the top people in their field, in their game, etc. And one thing that I notice with people is that they're always trying to solve their problems. We're obsessed with solving our problems. The only issue with that is the moment you solve one problem, there's just another problem waiting there for you. So then what's the solution to that? Well, I say it's creating a problem that's big enough to give your life over to, right? So for me, for instance, the problem that I see on the world is that we're living in a way that's not sustainable and that the world needs to transform, or I want to see the world transformed. That's a big fucking problem. Every day I wake up, the world is not transformed. But that commitment gets me out of bed every single day, right? Like I went to bed at around 1 in the morning yesterday. I was up by 6:30 this morning with a hangover, working, talking to people, being of service, doing all the things that I love to do. Why? Because the commitment is bigger than how I currently feel about myself. And it's the same thing when I go to events or when I travel and I'm exhausted, and then you still can get up on stage, be excited, help people, serve people, all those things. The reason you can do that and be excited and not get tired and who gives a shit about how you feel is because you have a huge commitment. And you really are working towards seeing that be alive and real in the world. So guys, look for yourselves, first of all, about your limiting beliefs and the stories that you're creating, and inquire, is it true? Could you absolutely know with certainty that those beliefs you have are absolutely true? And behind that, after you dismantle that, create a commitment for yourself, something that's really big. And I would challenge you to create something that is not just self-serving. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just playing a smaller game. You want to play a bigger game? Play a game where other people's lives matter in your game. And you will find that inside that context, a lot of what you want to create for yourself will be created as a function of serving others. The experience of self completely alters when you serve other people. I promise you that. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for listening today. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll have that link down for Katie's book down below. I strongly recommend it. One of the better books I've read in quite some time. Love you. Take care. Bye.